It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everybody's having a good day. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And look, it costs nothing to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down below and continue to share these videos. Really appreciate it. Let's get into what happened today. We have a few things to talk about. Inflation slows in May with consumer prices up 3.3% from a year ago. This from CNBC today. It came in at 0.1% below expectations. And, you know, it sounds like great news, but it really is not great news. Inflation is continuing to go up. It's just going up slower. They're far from the 2% target. And if we go back and look at food prices from 3 years ago, food prices are up over 21%. Energy prices are up over 35% from 3 years ago. Gasoline, way up from 3 years ago. People are still feeling the pain. And again, we are nowhere near that 2% inflation target. You know, just reading some of the news today, and feel free to comment down below on any of this, but it just seems like somebody or someone hates the middle class, someone or somebody hates restaurants, somebody hates poor people. It just seems like nobody is trying to help fix the problems here in America as the middle class, the poor, the restaurants, the retailers, the small businesses continue to suffer. What is interesting also is, remember in the beginning of the year, they were talking 6, 7 rate cuts for this year. 6 or 7 rate cuts. Then it went to 3, and now today they're saying, well, maybe it'll be 1, and that'll be November, December. And I don't even see how they're going to be able to do that. But we've been hearing a lot, and it just seems that things continue to get worse. Here's another one from CNBC. Fed holds rates steady, indicates only 1 cut coming this year. Yet 4 Fed officials are in favor of no cuts this year. Previously, it was only 2. Now 4 Fed officials say that they're in favor of no cuts at all this year. The Fed today, in the Fed meeting, I didn't really get to watch it, saw some highlights, and I'm just reading it from CNBC, but the Fed sees 5 cuts in 2025. So we're not near 2025 yet, and they're saying that they see 5 cuts. Well, they saw 6 or 7 this year, and they were completely off. So always trying, you know, to find something for the algorithms and the market to grab a hold of, to push the markets up. Markets were pretty mixed today, but look, at the end of the day, the markets don't care about anything other than rate cuts, the hope of a rate cut, anything. You know, now they can look forward to possibly 5 cuts in 2025 when we were looking at 6 or 7 this year. I don't see it happening. You have the labor market, according to the official data, is very, very strong. Unemployment sitting at about 4%, so it's very, very low. GDP is growing, not growing a lot, but it's growing. 8+ million jobs available out there, even though we know that's a farce. But we're looking at the official data here, and looking at the official data and markets at all-time highs. Why in the world would the Fed be cutting rates? I don't understand. Here's another one from CNBC. The Federal Reserve holds interest rates steady. Here's what it means for your money. What it really means is households, especially middle class and the poor, are going to be under extreme pressure. I looked at bankrate.com today for a 30-year fixed rate, sitting at 7.09%. It's not going to be good for real estate. If you're trying to sell a house, good luck finding a buyer who's going to pay over 7%. Credit card APRs are at around all-time highs right now, right around 23%. I've seen them as high as 34.9%. The consumer is on their own. And as a consumer, I would be making sure I get all my debt paid off, or at least have it manageable. I would not be taking on any new debt. I would not be buying any big ticket items right now. I would have a cash reserve put away. Nobody is immune from losing a job. Everybody now should have 6 to 12 months of cash reserves put away in case they or a spouse loses their job. Auto loans, the average 5-year new car loan is over 7%. That is up from 4% in March of 2022. Think about that. It's almost literally doubled from 2 years ago. Student loans, the interest rate on federal direct undergraduate loans for 2024 to 2025 will be 6.53%, the highest in the past decade. So what this all means is if you have to borrow money to buy a car, to buy a house, to go to school, to use your credit card, it is going to cost more money to borrow money. If you take on debt, it's going to cost you more money. So I don't know. I don't see how things are getting better. It seems things are continuing to get worse. And it really does seem that somebody hates the middle class, somebody hates the retailer, somebody hates the restaurant industry. Nobody is getting any help here. Here's another one today. This very, very concerning. This coming from the Turner Radio Show. Moscow Stock Exchange halts trades in dollars and euros. The Moscow Exchange announced minutes ago, I read this earlier today, so this happened today, announced minutes ago that it will not conduct trading in dollars and euros starting June 13th. Earlier today, the U.S. Treasury announced that the U.S. is imposing sanctions on the Moscow Exchange and the National Clearing Center. Rumors are now swirling in Moscow right now. They say that Russia may have to take out U.S. stock exchanges by placing them on the decisions-making centers. This means New York now could be a primary target. We know that there is a Russian nuclear sub now off the coast of Florida cruising around. What does this really mean? Placing them on the decisions-making centers. So now the stock exchange in New York is now a primary target. This is quite possible. Or what about major cyber attacks hitting the New York Stock Exchange with major cyber attacks and just shutting it down? This is all escalating. Things in the Middle East are escalating. Things in Ukraine are escalating. This stuff is not going away, even though we're not really hearing much about it. All this continues to escalate. And I just find it shocking that nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about this sub now floating around off the coast of Florida. Just so much happening, and we're not hearing anything about it. And what's even more shocking is, the petrodollar agreement expiring on Sunday. No word of it whatsoever. Nobody's saying a word about this. I think this is going to have delayed ramifications at some point. And I was talking to Aaron today from Texas Silver. He just received more silver. I think he's doing an unboxing this week. I think he's going to make another order. I ordered gold 48 hours ago from SD Bullion. So when I read more and more of what's happening around the world and more inflation coming to America, look, you cannot be printing this much money. You cannot be sending this amount of money overseas. You cannot just be forgiving this amount of student loan debt, sending munitions to Ukraine, billions of dollars to multiple countries. You cannot have China dumping $100 billion in bonds and not think that this is not inflationary. Of course, it's very inflationary. And so what does this mean for the dollar? This means that your dollars are going to lose more purchasing power. So I'm going to be holding real tangible assets, and this just motivates me that I probably need to be purchasing more. Here's another one today from the Burning Platform. Middle class destruction, the real story behind America's declining economy. Very interesting. And I thought that these figures were very startling. 40% of all Americans are unable to plan beyond their next paycheck. 46% of Americans don't have $500 saved up. How in the world can the economy be in good shape? How in the world can they tell you that real estate's doing well or is going to do well when half the country doesn't have $500 saved up? 25% of Americans making $75,000 per year spend over 50% of their budget on housing. This is 100% unsustainable. And think about everything. Healthcare costs going up, health insurance going up, home insurance going up, car insurance going up. How in the world can they say that they're getting inflation under control? I have no idea. But who in the world is going to buy all these homes when everybody's broke? The majority of those making under $60,000 per year find their debt difficult to manage. And of course, nearly 80% of this country is working paycheck to paycheck. You miss a paycheck, you're in big trouble. You're a flat tire away from big trouble. Sky high prices and sky high interest rates are hurting the middle class. Where's the help? Where is the help? We're too busy trying to help everybody else, I guess. It goes on in the article to talk about a good job is hard to find, and it's going to get harder to find. If you have a good job right now, do everything in your power to keep that job. Do not lose your job. It is very difficult to replace a good job right now. Somebody I know wrote the other day that, oh, there's so many good jobs out there. Great jobs are plentiful. Really? Lose a job and find out. Because, if you look at the jobs report last Thursday, look at where the jobs were. Health and social services, low pay, low wage, part-time jobs, government jobs. Those are crappy jobs. Leisure and hospitality, more low wage, more part-time jobs. No opportunity to move up the ladder in that sector either. So again, health, social services, government jobs, leisure and hospitality. Those are the top 3 sectors in America for jobs. So if you have a good job, do everything in your power to keep it. And this is the reality. You don't have to like the reality. But that is the reality. If you called me up today and you said, "Hey, how's the weather?" and I opened up the door, went out on the porch, and I said, "Man, there's a tornado coming. It's raining, it's hailing. They're calling for a tornado. It's just terrible." You can disagree with that all you want. You can hate it all you want. But at the end of the day, that is the reality. It is raining. There's tornado warnings. The weather's bad. You don't want to be out in it. But people just seem that they want to keep denying reality and the truth. That's just the reality. You can hate it. You can hate the message. You can hate the reality of it all. But that's the truth. That's the real reality. The weather is bad. Some people just do not want to accept reality. But if you want to go out in the tornado, you want to go out in the storm, by all means, do whatever you want. We all have free will. Here's another one today. Restaurant Apocalypse. The do-gooders created all the destruction. Every bit of it is the title of it. I won't go through the whole thing, but right off the top here, chicken, beef, and seafood are up 30 to 40% in the past 36 months. How in the world are these restaurants doing it? Unfortunately, today the food is not as good. The service not as good. The price is much more than they were a few years ago. The portions much smaller, and people are beginning to make the decision and the choice to just eat at home because they can do it cheaper. They can do a higher quality food, and they don't have to worry about the bad service. They don't have to worry about the tips. They don't have to worry about the quality of food. They can buy what they want. Again, you can pretend everything is okay, but if you've been to a restaurant lately, they're not that busy. I know when you watch the television, the news tells us, wow, people are going out. They want to socialize. They want to go out and spend money and stand in line at restaurants. Where are the lines at? Now, of course, somebody's going to write me and tell me in their area all the restaurants are packed. Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad somebody's doing well. I can tell you out here in a very popular, sought-after vacation destination, the Palm Springs, Palm Desert area, the restaurants are not busy, and they were not busy that busy over the winter in the height of our season either. But just the other night, I was driving down El Paseo. You could get a seat at any restaurant you wanted. There was no restaurant that was even half full. An estimated 22 million employed adults, about 14% of the workforce, have not returned to the office, according to Pew Research Center. If millions of workers aren't going back to work, if they're not going back to those office buildings, if they're working from home, they're not returning back to work in those cities, those brick and mortar restaurants, how in the world are they going to survive? They depend on people going to lunch, going to dinner after work, And when people are not in those office buildings, when they're not returning back to work, when they're not in those cities, those restaurants are done. On top of what just happened with the health crisis and all the restaurants we lost from that, now, because of what's happening in the workforce, people not returning to work, now the second wave of destruction is taking place to the restaurants. And of course the economy too. People don't have the money. They don't have the discretionary spending to go to these restaurants. And so that's hurting too. So people aren't going back to work. So they're not in those cities. They're not in those office buildings. So they're not going to those local restaurants. And then on top of that, they don't have the money. So when they're at home over the weekend, they're not spending like they used to. So it almost seems like somebody really hates the restaurant business. They hate the restaurants. They hate the mom and pop restaurants. They're doing everything they can to just destroy small businesses and restaurants. It's unbelievable when you really look at it. We can help everybody else, but we cannot help our own businesses, small businesses. They should be getting tax incentives. This country should be doing whatever it can to incentivize people to open small businesses and restaurants. In my opinion, taxes should be cut. And so that people have a little bit of breathing room and they have some discretionary spending that they can save up some money. And if they want to go out to eat, they can afford to go do that. But this is definitely a new world, ladies and gentlemen. When you go to a restaurant now, it is not the same type of event that it used to be, where people really used to look forward to going to a restaurant. I know that I used to really look forward to going to a restaurant. I still do if there's a good one, but the good ones are far and few between now. And if you want to go to a good restaurant with good service and good food and good portions, it is getting very expensive and very, very rare. Those restaurants are almost extinct at this point. So what do you have left? Well, you have fast food where the food is horrible, the service is horrible, the prices are horrible, and so you don't really have the choices that you once did. And same thing with retail, right? The mom and pop stores used to have more of a selection. They're gone. They're gone. This new world that we live in now is looking a lot different. And it just seems like most cities now look very similar to one another, where you have a Costco over here, a Walmart over here, a Taco Bell here, a McDonald's here, and a Starbucks here, and maybe a Chipotle over there. They're all these cities are beginning to look alike. Why? Because all of those small mom and pop retailers and restaurants are gone. And if they're not gone now, by next year, a lot of them will be gone. You know, just like a year and a half ago, there was a diner out in La Quinta, and I walked in there one day and I said, "Hey, how's business?" "Oh, it's fantastic. It's doing great." They're gone. They've been replaced by an ice cream shop. But it's amazing how many businesses in the last few years told me that they're doing great, business is wonderful, and within a year, they're gone. Disappeared. So that is the reality of what is happening, at least from my perspective, the way I see it. Please comment down below. Let me know what you're seeing in your areas. What do you think about the inflation numbers today? Do you even believe this data anymore? The data is so manipulated. They play with the formula so much that they can pretty much manipulate the numbers where they want them and, you know, make it all sound nice and good and rosy. But at the end of the day, we all go to a grocery store. We all pump our own gas. We all pay for a service. We're paying huge utility bills now that, I mean, are absolutely ridiculous. And of course, if you need to go out and buy a car, if you need to finance something, if you're using your credit card, you can see every month that 23% on that credit card. Every time you make that car payment, that's 7, 8, 10, 12% or more, whatever it is, depending on your credit. Everybody can see this, but they keep telling us everything's okay. I mean, this is really getting out of control, and I can't even imagine where we're going to be by the end of summer. Comment down below. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless every one of you. Say a prayer for this country. We're in big trouble. We're in very, very big trouble, and we are creating a lot of enemies out there. So again, we have a nuclear sub now off the coast of Florida, cruising around. Russia now going to dump the dollar from their exchange and the euro. We are not creating many friends, are we? 9,000 sanctions, I believe America has across the globe. When does the world say, hey, we're going to now sanction you, America? I love this country, but what we are doing is causing such damage and we are creating so many enemies. Nobody is going to want to help America when America's down. And America is going to get itself into very, very big trouble here. There's no way that you can't. We are past the point of no return with this much debt, with these type of deficits, with this type of leadership, with what's happening to the middle class. You lose the middle class, America's done. That's just the bottom line. And they're doing everything, it seems like. Look, could I be wrong here? I don't know. But it seems like somebody is doing everything they can to destroy the middle class. And when we don't have a middle class, we don't have a country. Comment down below. God bless. Have a good day.